collection. Section 9 of CGST Act and Section 5 of IGST Act. The same thing replica in Section 5. Okay. Levy means what? Imposing the tax. Collection means whatever the tax has imposed, that will be collected. Okay. First one. Subject to the provisions of subsection 2 means the second one. This gives the scope for all kinds of supply. Subject to whatever it is mentioned in subsection 2, except that it imposes tax on all the things. That is what they meant. Okay. One thing you need to concentrate on this. Except on supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Alcoholic liquor for human consumption, except that this subsection deals with levy of GST on all the supplies except supplies mentioned in subsection 2. Okay. See, subject to provisions of subsection 2, there shall be levied a tax called GST on all intrastate supplies. CGST Act deals with intrastate. IGST Act deals with interstate. Okay. Of supply of goods or services or both, except on the supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption, on the value determined under section 15. This is the valuation rules, valuations chapter. It starts at section 16, and at such rates not exceeding 20%. That means CGST 20, same rate SGST is also 20. Total 40% of both CGST and SGST put together should not exceed any levy. Whereas in IGST, total 40, because both is combining in that. As may be notified by the government on the recommendations of the council and collected in such manner as may be prescribed and shall be paid by the taxable person. Okay. Alcoholic liquor for human consumption is state levy, VAT. It is not the central levy. Central levy, GST is the central levy. Other things are state levy. In that, this is one among them. Okay, this is subsection 1. Subsection 2 says, on these 5 products, GST will not be levied. What are those? High speed diesel, petroleum products, motor spirit, aviation turbine fuel, natural gas. On how many products the GST is not levied? 5. Okay. The central tax on the supply of petroleum crude, petroleum products means petroleum crude, high speed diesel, motor spirit, natural gas, aviation turbine fuel. Okay, on this there is no There is no GST levy. Okay. High speed diesel, petroleum crude means grease, oils, motor spirit, petrol, aviation turbine fuel means the fuel used for flights, natural gas means cooking gas, those things on which GST as of now is not levied. Okay, how to remember that? HP man is the synopsis. HP man means what?
High-speed diesel, petroleum products, motor spirit, aviation turbine fuel, and natural gas.
Petroleum products or petroleum crude. Okay, both one and the same. On which GST is not levied. That is what it has mentioned in subsection 2. They have given the analysis. Please go through all those analysis. I don't think that is required as of now. But if you guys required, please read once. Okay. Third one, the government may, on the recommendation of the council, by notification, specify categories of supply of goods or services or both, the tax on which shall be paid on reverse charge. Okay. There are two kinds of levy. One is forward levy, another one is reverse charge. We call it as FCM, we call it as RCM. 99.9% FCM will be levied on almost all supplies. For few goods and services, there is a reverse charge. And especially on the service part, you need to remember what are those which falls under RCM. Okay. Forward charge mechanism means what? Here, highlight. Forward charge mechanism in which player will collect the tax and pay to the government. Forward charge mechanism means what? Whatever the supply you do, you will collect the tax from the customers and you deposit the tax to the government. That is called as forward charge. Reverse charge, reverse charge, the recipient of the supply or receiver of the supply will pay tax to the government. He will not pay to the supplier. Instead, he will only deposit the tax to the government on the whatever the supply he has received. Are you guys understanding the difference between the two?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In this, you need to remember this very, very, very important RCM. Okay. We will learn everything. I'm just giving you the heads up. Next, fourth one. The government may, on the recommendation of the council by notification, specify a class of registered person who shall, in respect of supply of specified categories of goods or services or both, received from an unregistered supplier. That means only the registered person can issue tax invoice. Only the registered person can take the credit of the taxes paid by him on its input supply. Inward supply we call it as, on which he can take the credit of the taxes paid. In this section it mentions that if a registered person has received some supply, be it goods or services or both, from an unregistered means who is not registered under the GST Act, hence he cannot issue the tax invoice. In that case, the registered person will have to pay the tax to the government on the whatever the supply has received from the unregistered person. Okay. The government may, on the recommendations of the council by notification, specify categories of services. This is e-commerce. We call it as eco. Categories of services, the tax on interstate supplies of which shall be paid by electronic commerce operator, eco. We call it as ECO, eco, e-commerce operator. If such services are supplied through it, and all the provisions of this act shall apply to such eco as if he is the supplier liable for paying the tax in relation to the supply of such services. They are mentioning about services. Okay. 2-3 example I will give. How many of you have booked cab through app Ola, Uber? Who raised their hand? Your answer, voice.
I have, sir.
Okay, most of you guys have booked. Does that cab belongs to Uber or Ola? Or that cab belongs to the driver who lists the cab in the Ola and Uber?
Belongs to the driver in most cases.
Driver.
Yes.
Because Ola doesn't own cars. Is it joke to have 5,000, 6,000 cars? Instead, what it does, he makes the owner of the car to get listed in their website so that the people who wants to avail the services of the cab, they can book through the app, and for which the Ola will give the commission to the drivers. Okay, fuel charges, everything will be borne by Ola and commission will be given. Okay, that is one. Second one, urban clap. Have you guys seen the advertisement? Urban clap, where in an ad he comes and cleans the bathroom with the machines. Have you guys seen that ad?
No, sir.
No, not seen that.
Not
Urban
seen
clap.
the ad, but avail their services, yes.
Okay, that in that also the person who comes and cleans, who gives the cleaning services, would have listed in the urban clap app. OYO rooms. When you book any accommodation via OYO, OYO doesn't own any hotel. It ties up with the hotels, for which it gets the commission from the hotel. All these things are what? E-commerce services. Who is providing? Who is providing? In case of cab, Ola is providing. In case of cleaning services, Urban Clap is providing. In case of accommodation, OYO is providing. All these things are e-commerce operator. That means it is operated electronically. For that services, the government has levied taxes or supplied through it, and all the provisions of that act shall apply to e-commerce. Okay. What are five? First one is generic. It is applicable to all except subsection 2. Subsection specifies that for the following five service supplies, there is no GST. What are those? HP man. What is meant by HP MEIN? High speed diesel, petroleum crude, motor spirit, aviation turbine fuel, natural gas. Please remember, you get the question, what are the supplies are outside the scope of GST? Along with this five, you need to mention one more, alcoholic liquor for human consumption. If the medical companies purchase the alcohol, then
It will be taxable, sir.
it is taxable. Why? In Act it is mentioned only human consumption. After 9:30, the people will be measuring the roads. No, only for them it is applicable. Okay, this is about section 9. In that we saw two. Third one, RCM. Fourth one, unregistered supplier. If any registered person takes any supply from unregistered person, the registered person has to pay the GST. Fifth one, e-commerce operator. One is compulsory, it is applicable all the time. Two, exempted one, I mean out of scope as of now. 3, RCM, and 5, ECO. You please remember these two. It is taxable e-commerce. Okay, they are given all these things. Services by way of transportation of passenger by radio taxi means GPS like that. Motor cab, maxi cab, motorcycle, omnibus or any other motor vehicle. E-commerce means Amazon, Flipkart, those things. You order no plumbing work, carpentering, housekeeping, urban clap. I will not come to this exemption. We will do after sometimes. Okay, please someone mark this one as exemption, page number 646. Please mark it. From there exemption starts. There are around 10 to 12 exemption for goods. It is irrelevant. Goods will not come in the exam. Services will come. Around 120 exemptions are there. How much?
120.
120. After that, minimum 30 to 40 are compulsory. You need to remember. That's why I will not do now. Otherwise, we will be in exemption chapter only. Okay, next one is very interesting chapter, composition scheme. See, services exemption. Okay, just see the serial numbers 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll just take you through. See here, 9CD, that means 9-4. Okay, 10A, 10A, 2. Like that, if you take 21, 21B, 23, 23A, 24AB, 31AB, like that. How much short of 100? Strictly, if we go by this number, 13. If you include A, B, C and all, another 20, 25 easily come. How many? 110 approximately. Take it as 110. It may be 5, 6 here and there. You guys have to slog. There is no shortcut. Chips. From where chips is made? Potato chips. From potato. Right? They slice the potato, they deep fry it and put it in the packet. That if you sell that packet without doing anything in the plain packet, it is exempted. I'm just giving an example. If you put a label, Malini chips, it becomes taxable. Why? Labeling of fruits and vegetables is exempted. Like pre-conditioning or waxing. You guys have seen apple being waxed?
Yes, sir.
Australian apple, Simla apple will come in wax. Why? Because the moisture, if it touches the fruit, it will not get spoiled. For that very reason, they put wax. Okay, that is belongs to fruit, apple. It is exempted. The chips is taxable. Plain chips also. If you put labeling, that is also taxable. If 100 kg chips you purchase, pack it in 50 grams, retail packing is taxable. Tomato ketchup, taxable. Tomato, put it in cover, exempt. Put the label, exempt. Mango juice, taxable. Ripening. Is it mango juice taxable? Grape juice taxable? I'm just asking you guys based on this.
If it is not labeled or packed, then it may not.
Nothing. They don't label anything. If you go to shop, fresh fruit juice.
Then it cannot be used.
Why?
Essential characteristic.
Because it has lost its essential character of fruit, no?
Oh.
Fruit means what? Is the juice is fruit?
No, sir, the fruit as a whole, which can be eaten.
Eatable. Hence, that becomes taxable. Nobody will charge the tax. That's a different story. Because there is a threshold limit for the registration. Until and unless you get registered, you are not liable to levy or collect tax from the customers. That is different one. But juice is not fruit. It is taxable. Like that, there are many things we need to understand. That's the reason why I'm just holding all these things. Why? If I do this one, most of you guys will leave the class after 2-3 classes. because it will not go so easily. Once we learn few things, then we will be in a better position to apply certain logics in this one exemptions. Mark this one as very important. You get 100% new scheme, old scheme. You will get the question. I will show the question of old scheme. It has come. Most of the cases it will come in almost all papers. Okay. Composition scheme. Composition scheme means what? Let me tell you the background. See, in GST there may be so much complaints. So much complaints in the complaints means you need to maintain the records. You need to file the monthly returns. There are 3-4 returns you have to submit monthly. You have to do certain calculations. Everything. It is very hard for the small traders. Small suppliers, it becomes very hard to do all these complaints for lesser profit margin. Okay, for that very reason, government has brought the scheme called as composition scheme. Understood the background why they have introduced this scheme?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. On this backdrop, we need to learn few things. 100% questions you will get. New scheme, old scheme, all. How many are old scheme are here? How many old scheme students are there? Aishwarya, Soundarajan, Richa, Sanmita. Okay, only 4. Good. Okay, very interesting. Little, what do you call, confusing. That confusion we will have to clarify here itself today. Before you leave for the day, you should be in a position, whatever the question you get from composition scheme, you should be in a position to answer without any error. I will ask few questions. Once I explain, please answer that. Then we do some problems. Okay? See, composition scheme. Section 10. If possible, remember this section. By default, you need to remember this section. Section 10 of CGST Act 2017. 10, 2A. I think another one section is there. You need to remember those 2 sections. 10.2 is not 10.2A. Services is there. This one. You need to remember these 2 sections. Okay, little lengthier chapter. In the sense, the conditions, threshold limit, who are eligible, everything will come. Composition scheme in GST provides an alternate method of tax payment. Small and medium taxpayers whose turnover is not exceeding the prescribed limit. Whose turnover is not exceeding prescribed limit. Okay. Here comes we saw some special category states, right?
Yes, sir.
How many were there?
11.
Something 11. Can you guys remember that? Special category states?
Yes, sir.
One discuss J&K Himachal Pradesh.
This one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. From now onwards, We keep referring special category states. You need to remember all these things from now onwards. In most of the cases, these will be keep coming. Threshold limit. In special category states, it is 75 lakhs. Others, 1.5 crores. Threshold limit is there. That means what? Until you achieve 75 lakhs of turnover during the previous year means our previous year is 22-23, previous year 21-22. If you haven't crossed 75 lakhs in this year, you are eligible to opt for composition scheme in 22-23. This is an optional provision, not compulsory. Others, those who are not in the special category states, if their turnover during the previous year 21-22 is not exceeding 1.5 crores, they are eligible to opt the composition scheme for the year 22-23. This is called as threshold limit. Understood? They may ask 1 marks question. What is the threshold limit applicable to special category states in case of composition scheme? You have to write 75 lakhs. Okay? The tax rate under this scheme have been kept at minimal. There are 3 categories of suppliers they have listed: manufacturer, trader, restaurant and outdoor caterers. Only 3. Out of these 3, these 2 are belongs to goods. This is the only thing, service. Manufacturer of goods or traders, and this is the only one who is the service provider or eligible to opt composition scheme, provided their threshold limit has not crossed. Once they cross the threshold limit, those 3 also becomes ineligible. Okay, we will see. I will do few problems. I will be asking you few questions. Please answer. Okay. Minimal, but at the same time, a person opting to pay tax under composition levy scheme can neither take input tax credit. Remember this. Neither take input tax credit nor it can collect any tax from the recipient. It is a voluntary and optional scheme. I told you no, voluntary or optional. It is not compulsory. If you want to comes under this scheme, you can opt, provided threshold limit should not crossed. Which year threshold limit? If you want to opt 22-23 previous year, if you want to opt composition scheme, which year threshold limit you need to see?
'21-22.
22. Yeah. turnover up to today is 13th August now. Now tell me, can they opt composition scheme for the previous year 22-23?
For 21-22, it is 140 lakhs.
Yes, he can opt, but only till he crosses 150 lakhs. After he crosses 150 lakhs, automatically he becomes normal supplier. Are you guys understanding? Since the turnover of the previous year 21-22 is 140 lakhs, he can opt for the composition scheme for the previous year 22-23 from 1st April 2022 till he crosses the turnover of 150 lakhs. Once the turnover crosses 150 lakhs, he is not eligible to continue in the composition scheme. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Start a new business from 13th August 23. He wants to opt composition scheme. He requires your advice. What would be your advice? Can he opt composition scheme or not?
You can.
He can opt. Whoever is starting the business, whoever, even if Infosys starts now, it can opt composition scheme. Why? Because there is no turnover in the previous year at all, zero turnover. They can opt. Are you guys understanding now?
Yes, sir.
What about others?
Yes, sir.
Where is Miss
Yes, sir.
Anjali? She came little late. Huh. Who can opt for composition scheme? Notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained in this act, that means this section overrides all other sections. Is that what the meaning of notwithstanding? Gahana, Malini? Is this section overrides all other section or all other section overrides this section?
This section override.
Sorry?
This particular section override all other section.
Yes, notwithstanding anything contained to the contrary. That means in any other section, if there is any contrary to this section overrides all other sections contained in this act, but subject to the provisions of subsection 3 and 4 of section 9. Which section? Section 3 and 4 of 9. Can anyone tell me what is that 3 and 4? RCM and a registered person taking supply from unregistered person. Okay, for them composition scheme will not apply. I mean, subject to certain conditions, provisions which are mentioned there. Any registered person who can opt for composition scheme, whose aggregate turnover in the preceding previous year did not exceed 1 crore 50 lakhs. Ostrich mark they have given 1 crore 50 lakhs for the supply of goods, and restaurant services, may opt to pay in lieu of the tax payable by him under subsection 1 of section 9 an amount of tax calculated at the rate specified under rule 7 we are going to study. In case of Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tripura, Uttarakhand. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The threshold limit is 75 lakhs. In this special category states, 75 lakhs. What are all the things it will come? It is there. Yes. Assam was there.
No.
No Assam. Arunachal Pradesh, after Arunachal Pradesh, 3M. Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram. Yes. Nagaland, yes. Is Sikkim was there?
Yes.
Sikkim, Tripura, Uttarakhand. How many special category states are there in respect to composition scheme? How many are there?
8, sir.
8. Total how many? 11. Hajj is not included in special category states. Which one? Hajj. H-A-J. H means Himachal Pradesh, A means Assam, J means Jammu and Kashmir. They do not fall under special category states for composition levy. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the meaning of threshold?
The max limit.
Max limit. Once it crosses, what it has to be done? What he will become? He will become normal supplier. Understanding normal supplier means like normal other person who collects the tax at the prescribed rates, whatever applicable to that supply, he has to pay and collect and pay the tax. Are you guys understanding that one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. A. is having business in Arunachal Pradesh, AP, ARP I will write, and Assam. Turnover during 21-22 is 120 120 lakhs. Now tell me whether can he opt composition scheme in the current year 22-23.
No, sir.
Why?
Because he has exceeded the threshold of 75 lakhs.
In any states, if an assessee having a businesses in more than one state, if the threshold limit with respect to that state has exceeded, he will become the normal taxpayer the moment the turnover exceeded the threshold limit. Once he becomes normal taxpayer in any of the states, he will be treated as normal taxpayer in all the states of the India. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please be careful with these things. Then,
So the Himachal Pradesh, Assam and Jammu and Kashmir is considered in other states.
other states, yes, only for this composition scheme, because it is given here. Okay.
Yes.
Now, the see how many questions it may come till whatever we have studied. How many questions may come? Now this question, whatever I ask, this question may come. Second question, what are the special category states for composition scheme? They may frame this question. What is the threshold limit applicable to special category states with respect to composition scheme? Right? They may ask all these things. And these questions they may ask whether he is eligible for composition scheme or not. Who are all eligible for composition scheme? They can set. Are you guys understanding? No questions?
Yes, sir.
Now another questions may come. What is the meaning of aggregate turnover? Which turnover? Aggregate turnover. Aggregate turnover means what? Whatever the sales you achieve, that is called as aggregate turnover. Aggregate turnover is nothing but whatever the taxable supply you do, take that amount. Whatever the exempted supply is also you are doing, consider all those amount. Nil rated supply means the rate of supply having the nil rate, nil rate. You need to consider that value. Wholly exempt means what? Which has been exempted through notification. Consider that. Non-taxable supply. What are non-taxable supply?
HP man and alcohol for human consumption.
Demand supply. If you are having 4 petrol bunks, 1 provision store, 1 any other business, you need to consider all 6. This is 1 provision store and 1 which one I told?
Petrol.
Other supply and provision stores, and 4 petrol bunks you are having. All this you need to include. Turnover. Next, if you are doing any export, please include the exported value. If you are doing any interstate supply from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu, Karnataka to Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka to Delhi, whatever the supply you are doing, please add that. Total all these things. If in these, if you have included GST, please deduct that GST. You will get this value. Less the value of supply on which you are paying the tax on RCM. RCM means what? I explained RCM means the recipient will pay tax on the supply whatever he receives. Assume A supply to Z. Z will have to pay tax. That means Z is the recipient of the supply. If Z is paying the tax, that becomes taxable under RCM. Okay? If that be the case, is the value on which you are paying the tax is your turnover? Or you guys understood my question?
No, sir.
The value on which you pay the tax on RCM, if you happen to be the recipient of the supply, is that value is your turnover part?
No.
No. Hence you need to reduce that if it is included in any of the item. Okay, whatever you get from this, if you deduct this one, whatever you get, this is your aggregate turnover. You need to see this aggregate turnover, whether it has crossed 75 lakhs or 150 lakhs. Too much heavy. See the aggregate turnover. What are all the components you need to consider to calculate aggregate turnover? All taxable supply, nil rated, non-taxable, exempt, export, interstate supply. If in any of these supplies, if the GST is also included, then deduct that GST value. If GST is not included, don't deduct. Because why? You need to take only the net value, not the gross value including GST. If you happen to make the payment of tax on reverse charge basis on some of the supplies, don't include that value of the supply in your turnover, because that value is not belongs to you. It is the turnover of the other party, not your turnover. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will, since we are in this part, if the value, the rate of GST is 12%, assume. If you receive goods, value of which is 1,12,000 inclusive of GST, then what is exclusive of GST value in this?
1 lakh.
How?
On 1 lakh, the 12% is 112 divided by 100. 1,12,000 divided by 112.
1,12,000 multiplied by 12 divided by 112 you need to do. Okay? If you do that one, from 1,12,000, if you deduct 12,000, it becomes 1 lakh. If you include 1,12,000 here, you need to deduct 12,000 here. The net impact will be 1 lakh only, no?
Yes, sir.
If you include 1,12,000 here, you need to deduct 12,000 here to get the if you include 1 lakh here, then
Nothing is to be deducted.
This should not be deducted. Are you guys understanding right? What is? This is called as inclusive of GST. This is called as exclusive of GST. Okay. Next. Section 26 defines aggregate turnover. I explained what is that aggregate turnover means. Okay. Next. Optis of composition scheme allowed to provide limited quantum of service. Who are all eligible?
Manufacturers, traders,
Traders and restaurant services. Okay. Manufacturer of goods, trader of goods. Okay. See, only the goods. If they are supplying goods, they are eligible. If any supply of goods which requires some portion of service also, they become ineligible. That's what the provision says, no? Who can opt? Where is that manufacturer, trader like that they are given? If they say supply of goods or services, this is the only services including. The other services is not included. Okay? Just assume that you are a trader of goods. Goods means assume laptop. You are the trader of laptop. You will purchase the laptop from the company HP, Dell, Samsung, Lenovo, everything you purchase, you sell. Yes or no? That is the meaning of trader.
Yes, sir.
If only that you are doing, you are eligible for composition scheme. Assume that you purchase the laptop, you sell the laptop. While selling, you give some of the services to the customer. Some of the services means you install some antivirus software, you install some pre-programmed softwares. That becomes service element. In that case, you are not eligible to fall under or opt the composition scheme. Though your turnover is below 1.5 crores or 75 lakhs, you became ineligible. The other one, you became ineligible. What the manufacturer and trader they did, they approached the government and they explained their concern. There is some inherent service will be there in our supply. Example, have you guys purchased washing machine, TV, fridge, everything?
Yes, sir.
From whom you purchase?
Yes.
From some stores, Chroma or somewhere. Will